Magandang araw po sa lahat, wina po ito ng Splat Communications. Ang video po sa araw na ito na ating tatalakayin ay ukol sa biglaang pagiging tila mabait ng pamilya Duterte kay Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Matatandaang noong January 28 sa kasalukuyang taon ay inulan si Pbbm ng samut-saring matitinding akusasyon, mura at panawagang bumaba mula sa mag-aamang mga Duterte. Ngunit di pa man nakakalampas ng ilang linggo ay mistulang maamong tupa at mabait ang mga ito sa Pangulo. Ano kaya ang nangyari? Unahin po muna natin ang mga pahayag ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na nakalagay sa periodikong Daily Tribune. Dito ay pinagsabihan niya ang kanyang mga taga-suporta na huwag makipag-away. Quote, "Do not fight. I'd like to urge everybody not to fight because President Marcos and I are not fighting." Unquote. I was just telling him not to push though with the charter change. If he doesn't go through with it, then happy days are here again. Though the former president admitted that the relationship between his daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte, may have been affected by his pronouncements. The former president said that he expects her daughter to resign, but not too soon. He said he has no tiff with Marcos, whom he described as mabait. President Marcos is very kind. I don't think he could harm AFL. Next, we shall be showing the video of Sara as she made her statement regarding the stinging pronouncements of her family against President Marcos Jr.
Mga kababayan, Assalamualaikum. Taus-puso po akong nagpapasalamat kay Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. para sa kanyang patuloy na tiwala at kumpiyansa sa akin bilang kalihim ng kagawaran ng edukasyon. Mahalaga ang kanyang pagkilala sa papel ng lahat ng bumubuo ng Department of Education sa pagsulong ng 8-point socio-economic agenda ng Marcos administration para sa isang bagong Pilipinas. Nagpapasalamat din ako kay Pbbm sa kanyang paggalang sa aking mga paninindigan. Katulad na lang ng aking pagtutol sa pera kapalit ang pirma sa People's Initiative. Dahil insulto ito sa kahirapan ng ating mga mamamayan at paglabag sa kanilang karapatang magpasya ng malaya. At sa halip na charter change, lutasin muna natin ang kahirapan, mataas na presyo ng bilihin, kawalan ng trabaho at hanap buhay, seguridad, at marami pang ibang issue na pasan-pasan ng mga Pilipino. Ang paggalang ay isang natatanging asal na ipinakita ng Pangulo sa ating lahat, kung kaya't galangin din sana natin ang opinyon at paniniwala ng ibang tao, kasama na ang ating mga kamag-anak. May respeto ako sa mga pananaw at opinyon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, pati na ng aking mga kapatid. Ngunit katulad ng posisyon ko sa maraming mga issue, hindi kailangan na sumasang-ayon ako sa lahat ng mga ito. Pinalaki ako ng aking mga magulang na may pagpapahalaga sa malayang pag-iisip at pagpapasya. Para sa akin, laging nangunguna ang katapatan ko sa paglilingkod sa bayan. Uunahin ko ang edukasyon ng ating kabataan at kapayapaan ng bayan. Uunahin ko ang Pilipinas. Syukran.
Atin naman pong isunod ang ginanap na situation briefing ng ating mahal na Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos sa Davao, kung saan kanilang tinalakay ang mga pagsubok na hinaharap ng lokal, probinsyal at nasyonal na pamahalaan dahil sa matinding pinsala ng pagbaha at landslide sa maraming probinsya sa Mindanao. Di naman kami nagulat na kung halos lahat ng gobernador at mayor sa mga apektadong lugar ay naroon, si Mayor Baste Duterte ay hindi man lamang naaninag kahit anino nito sa pagsasabing pagpupulong. Matapos ng mga matapang at mapangkutyang pahayag kasama pa ang panawagan ng pagbibitiw sa pwesto, marahil ay pinablang din naman ng hiya o di kaya ay naukatoka.
Apex Rescue Team mo sulod sa ground zero.
Busy siya sa pagtulong sa ibang nasalanta, kaya bigyan na natin siya ng benefit of the doubt.
There was a comment about the schools na nalubog, lahat ng gamit nasira, lahat ng gamit ng mga bata, yeah, diba? Yeah, may equipment ng mga ng eskwelahan, things like that. So anyway, we will pagka meron na tayong numbers para alam natin kung saan saan ang kailangan. We will use the DepEd, and then siyempre the calamity funds again will be availed of. Yeah.
Mr. President, ano po, sa situation po ng Davao del Norte, halos po lahat ng mga bahay is affected po sa baha. So yung mga gamit ng mga bata, kasama po doon na nasisira po.
Well, nandito si Vice President, so she will, I'm sure, yung mga ano natin, mga DepEd natin will be able to tell us what we need to, kung ano yung mga kailangan palitan. Alright, we will move on now to Davao City. The report to Davao City will be Mr. Bustillo.
Yes, good afternoon po sa lahat, to our Vice President Inday and President Bongbong. For the Davao City situational report, well, Davao City was not exempted with the recent weather disturbance. In January 18, Davao City was affected with the shoreline weather disturbance. And with that, we experienced flooding for the 14 barangay, with the total families affected to 1,486, with a total population of 5,531. And along with that weather disturbance, mass wasting was also experienced in some barangay in our Davao City. And 4 of those barangay experienced mass wasting or landslide, and with 20 families affected and 37 individuals affected total. And we have, sad to note, we had 2 casualties during that mass wasting brought about by shoreline. And during that weather disturbance, Davao City was not totally impaired in terms of its population, basically because we were able to prepare and brought our those people considered at risk, brought to the safe evacuation and temporary shelter. So that was our affected population for the shear line with the disturbance happened in January 19. Next slide, please. And this is the photo documentation of that shear line. So we experienced flooding. All of the river system in Davao City caused to swell to critical level. And we also experienced street flooding at Laberna subdivision that impaired our transportation, and some mass wasting, particularly in the upland area of Davao City, in Marilog proper, and also in the Bedos area in Catalonia Grande. So ito yung po mga impact nating shoreline weather disturbance. Next slide, please. But on January 31, just recently, the trap of low pressure area really impacted Davao City. So with that, with the summary of affected population for the flooding, we had affected a total number of population 155,564. For the mass wasting or landslide, we have a number of population affected into 1,208. All in all, we had 156,772 affected population brought about by the trap of low pressure area that was started in January 18 and persistent and within 3 days of that kind of weather disturbance. Next slide, please. So with that flooding incident that we had, that trap low pressure area bring so much rain, 16 barangay is affected with that trap of low pressure area, with the total number of families affected into 37,743, or with the total number of population affected 155,564. Next slide, please. For the mass wasting, it increased the number of barangay affected with the mass wasting. So because of that, so much heavy downpour, continuous downpour affecting Davao City, 7 barangays are experiencing mass wasting incident, with the total number of families affected 276, and with the total number of population affected 1,208. Next slide. So with that situation, based on our initial assessment with the ARDAN that we conducted together with other offices, we able to find out with our assessment that there is a need to declare some barangay into the state of calamity. So just recently, just yesterday, 26 barangays that is considered affected with this trap of low pressure area was declared under the state of calamity, so that we can access the quick response fund, that we can also give immediate assistance to our affected communities. Aside from the for this calamity fund, the city government is continues to provide those displaced community both non-food and non-food items to alleviate their situation. Next slide, please. So ito po yung sitwasyon namin. One of the biggest impact that trap of low pressure area is the Davao River. If you can see the Davao River, so there is a massive flooding affecting several communities along the line, the streets of Davao River. So that is the Jid Valley, this is the Waan, and this along Davao River. This is after 2 days of the flooding. So if you can imagine, after 2 days, we already experienced hot sunny days, but still some areas of those within along Davao River still inundated with flood water, and it's reached as much as the second floor of houses, particularly in Jid Valley. Next slide, please. And also a massive mass wasting was experienced to the different parts of Davao City, particularly the upland parts of Davao City, like in Barangay Tambubong, Barangay Lamanan, Barangay Saloy, and Barangay Marulog proper. And the good news about this, in fact, we have this experienced this mass wasting, but however, with the direct collaboration with the people on the barangay, with the BDRMC, we able to remain a zero casualty despite of this incident happening in Davao City. Next slide, please. So for the ways forward, considering that Davao City is considered as one of the hazards that we identified in Davao City is more on flooding. So we have ongoing, with the city government, ongoing collaboration with the Japanese government, to the JICA, about the study of Davao River to formulate integrated flood control master plan. And I believe it's almost done. And along with that plan is the structural measures in Davao River, that one of the plan is to dredge from river of Davao River mouth 23 kilometers from the mouth of Davao River with a 23 kilometer streets, because as per observation, Davao River right now is very silted, and we also look at that as one of the source enhanced flooding within that area. And also there was a proposal from the expert of this flood control master plan to do some cut-off works and to establish retarding ponds and to widen the Bolton Bridge from the mouth of Davao River 4 kilometers going inland to Bolton Bridge. That was the proposal of our Japanese experts in order for us to mitigate or reduce the impact of flooding. And all of these things, I believe, this together with the DPW's proposal. So I believe this would become part of the priority projects in the future for Davao River. Next slide, please. And another thing that we are looking forward is to upgrade our drainage system in Davao City. With that, again, part of the master plan that are being crafted together with the DPWs and all other experts and all other concerned offices of the city government, upgrading of drainage system was now underway in order for us to, again, to increase the carrying capacity, the water carrying capacity of our drainage system, so that we can reduce or minimize or mitigate the impact of flooding, particularly in our urban area. And then we have this constant coordination with DPWH. And last January 5, our Honorable Mayor Sebastian Duterte wrote a letter to our DPWH with a particular emphasis on the projects for the alleviation of flooding and traffic congestion within Davao City. And again, also for the improvement and creation of suitable drainage systems all over the city. And provision and ample budgeting for right-of-way acquisition to allow for a more active transport environment in the city. So that is the content of the letter.
Is this inventory and upgrading included in the JICA study?
Yes, Mr. President. This proposal is in complement with the findings of our JICA study. Okay. Next slide, please.
Same study?
I think on the, paano po, Mr. President, parang patapos na po.
Okay.
It's more on the putting budget on that particular proposal. Next slide, please. So ito po yung sulat na aming alkalde last January 5, addressed to our Secretary of the DPWH. So yun po, we hope and pray that this would be can be taken into consideration so that we believe that it can address some flooding we experience in Davao City. Next slide, please. That's all po, Mr. President. Salamat po. Mayang hapon.
Well, I did note the letter that you wrote to Secmani. We need to wait for the study before we can do anything kasi we have to make sure na nasa tamang lugar yung gagawin natin. So we'll look for that. Again, I don't think the city is as much affected in terms of connectivity, yung mga main thoroughfares. So that's not we do not have that immediate problem as we have in
Yes,
the
sir.
other provinces. Pero tutukan natin yung JICA study para maybe Sec Tony, you can help us with that because that also falls under DNR, the JICA study for the flooding and drainage of the city, Davao City.
Yes, sir. We'll work very closely with DPWH,
Yeah,
sir,
yes.
on
Yeah,
this one.
Maybe you can ask JICA what the status of it is so that we know where we stand and when we can start moving.
Mr. President, the study is almost complete, and
You're aware of the...
yes, Mr. President, this
Oh.
is an undertaking of the Department of Public Works and Highways
Okay,
under our foreign assisted program, Mr. President.
all right, okay. All right, now the next report will be coming from the OCD. The regional director, maybe you want to jump in here at some point, yeah?
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Anyare Hirang, the Regional Director. Mr. President, the local governments have spoken as to the damages in the infrastructure and the others. I do not wish to balikin po yon. I would like to focus, next please, on the assistance provided by the government. So, next please. Next. So, ito po yung mga the government has already provided 190 million pesos of assistance from DSWD, the LGUs, and the Office of Civil Defense, composed of family food packs, family kits, modular tents, sleeping kits, hygiene kits, malong, family packs, blankets, jerry cans, and recently our CDA Administrator Ariel Pomoseno has approved 15,000 bags of rice, 50 kilos bags of rice for disposal po. Kasi yung family food packs na binigay ng DSWD has to be sustained. Kasi yung mga victims has to work, to go back to their job. So kailangan bigyan ng bigas po. So 4,000, in fact 4,000 of bags of rice is now ready for delivery for withdrawal po sa NFA warehouses. Next. So as mentioned, of the almost 1 million people affected, 1/3 pa lang ang nabibigyan. Yeah, 1/3 pa lang ang nabibigyan ng tulong. So as discussed earlier, more and more will be coming. This is as recorded by the Office of Civil Defense. So almost 1 million, then ang nabigyan po 329,000 people pa lang. So next. Yeah, these are the types of other items that we gave, as mentioned, the rice, canned goods, blankets, family packs, and others. Next. So, the response cluster, the immediate response cluster headed by DSWD has already given a lot, or has already started giving the support to our people po. For the health cluster members, nagbigay na rin po sila ng mga jerry cans, chlorine granules, and assorted medicines, boots, and raincoats. Next. Next, please. Okay. Based po dun sa as mentioned, yung mga infrastructure damages po will have to go through the post-disaster needs assessment, the PDENA, for a more detailed assessment ng mga reported damages. And I would like to recommend, Mr. President, that the OCD will consolidate all this into a regional rehabilitation plan that would be funded by existing budget of the government this year, and I recommend a legislated budget starting next year and continuing. Hindi naman po kaya natin lahatin ito in one period. A legislated budget may be good for all sectors na po, agriculture, infrastructure, health, and the others. Kasi nakita po natin na halos lahat ng LGUs ng region are in need of this fund. So I would recommend a current budget utilization plus the legislated budget for rehabilitation starting next year po. So next. Next please. Next. Tapos na yan. Next. Okay. I'd like to mention, Mr. President, yung OCD po is in charge of the mobilizing the response of the immediate response during disaster. And I think it's noteworthy to explain that konti lang po ang, in spite of the damage na nangyari at the calamities na nangyari, no? Yung ating mga local government po, yung kanilang forced evacuation, preemptive evacuation has worked well. Kaya makita natin five disasters na po nangyari, 2 earthquakes, 1 tropical storm, shear line, plus the trough po. If you account the people dead or, well, we do not wish more people to die, but yun po yung data natin, pakunti po yung data natin, because our local government, in terms of response, I think, are now efficient and effective. Ang kulang po natin, more on prevention and mitigation, and the rehab and recovery aspect po ng ating disaster resiliency program under Republic Act 10121 po.
Very good. Thank you. There seems to be that common thread, ano? That although the sector we're talking about mitigation, but we have to make the studies, because the common theme that we get from the LGUs, not only here, but every time there's a disaster anywhere in the Philippines, that it happens in a different place now. The flooding happens in a different place. The landslides happen in a different place from where they usually do. So the governors, they try to plan. We're alam na namin yan. We'll send it here to this barangay, to that town, to that ano. Tapos iba naman ang pupuntahan ng tubig. So that's the kind of, so so as to maximize the funding that we will provide, we really have to figure out how these things, how things have changed. I don't think that's going to be too easy, but that we should get a start on it, so that the obvious ones we can already start doing something about.
Yes, sir. If I may, sir, we do have an assessment called the Climate and Disaster Risk Assessment that can be done provincially and regionally. The CIDRA is a known tool. We don't know how many provinces are actually using it, but there are a few already doing climate and disaster risk assessment as a basis for the budget for prevention as well as anticipatory action for rehabilitation recovery. Sir, the OST is very material here because it is the climate projections based on the data from the OST plus the multiple hazard analysis that combines earthquakes as well as other types of hazards. And we're here po to assist in terms of the climate and disaster risk assessment. We can provide that training and as in partnership with the OST and OCD, sir.
And remember what we were discussing the other day. Maybe we can get help as well from some funding from international institutions, because it's clearly very much an effect of climate change, and we can hope. Let's try to access resources. Meron naman, I think meron yan eh. It's just a question of going to them and explaining to them we still have to bear the largest part of the load, the government, naturally. But that can be of help to us pag meron tayong assistance sa mga foreign funding institutions.
Yes, sir. And we do have some provinces already enrolled in some of these foreign assistance. We will just determine, sir, in terms of the region, how many are actually part of the existing foreign assisted, and we can also apply for further assistance from other partners, sir.
Marami namang foreign assistance, but I'm talking not only in funding, also the technical.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
Because they bring the experts from international, the best people for the effects of climate change mitigation. We should try and I think that they will be very interested to see how it's playing out here in the Philippines.
Yes, sir. Particularly for Mindanao, sir, there's a great interest. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, with the problem of the nationally constructed bridges and provincial
Sige
roads,
nga, let's see what
we can access the NRIM fund for it. We'll just have to change our resolutions because initially they were made to assist 4th, 5th, and 6th class municipalities. And then 1st, 2nd, and 3rd class municipalities have some participation. But nonetheless, the NRIM fund is necessary here because these regulations were made prior to the type of calamities that we see now. So we'll just make an emergency NRIMC full council meeting in order to redraft the resolution. And we'll work with the DPWH in order to assess, Mr. President, the immediate connectivity needs and then the other connectivity needs. Because Secretary Bunuan and I were talking earlier in the helicopter that the areas that were inundated and the infrastructures there should not be there anymore because they will continue to be affected by landslides and flooding. So it will also need relocation of communities, which as evidenced by the current calamities need to be done. So we will work together with DPWH, our regional OCDs, and the LGU, sir, so that the immediate
are going to be the ones who are going to be the best source of
yes, sir,
information, as usual. Very familiar with local conditions. But again, on the funding side,
yes, sir, we can.
If we can, well, some of these bridges are not even provincial. Yung nakita natin, maliliit
yun, sir, they're
may
footbridges.
Opo. Pero kailangan ng tao yan eh. Ginagamit nila yan eh. So those are the relatively quick fixes.
Yes.
Are the smaller ones. But yung mga dinadaanan na ng truck, whatever it is, whether they are national road or provincial road or municipal, yun ang kailangan natin tignan because that's the flow of commerce. And for our immediate needs na nga, that we have to be able to access those areas.
There's also a logistical effort, Mr. President, on our part, spearheaded by the armed forces and with the PNP. Aside from the land assets of the Philippine Army that are here, we have devoted 6 helicopters for airlift and 2 naval vessels, Mr. President, to attend to this, and we can deploy more as necessary. Thank you, Mr. President. And Sec Benher has an intervention, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sec Benher, yes.
Yeah, Mr. President, on the part of the ALG, the Bureau of Fire and the PNP is also helping our LGUs. And likewise, I was listening, and the problem is the drinking water. And it's quite difficult to reach them because of the bridges that were destroyed. But we've got this backpack portable. I just called up MMDA, and they're more than willing to send their teams here, Mr. President. This one is to help our LGUs. And likewise, tama po si Mr. Dayang Hirang, magagaling po ang ating mga governors, ang ating mga mayors because of the upland list that we have, the checklist on the ground. At kaya medyo nabawasan po talaga. Maski na grabe ang damage, halos yung fatality, yung konti. So I would like to congratulate really the executives.
If there's
Thank
any
you.
good news in this, it's that the quick action, quick response of the local governments has minimized the casualty rate. Although, having said that, yung infrastructure na damage talagang malaki. There's agricultural damage as well, but the more difficult one to fix will be the infrastructure damage. The bridges, the approaches, the roads, all of this infrastructure that we have seen. That kasi naman it was built, hindi dinadaanan ng bagyo, hindi dinadaanan ng tubig dati yan eh. Kaya it was built to the conditions that existed before. Nagbago nga eh. So that's why we'll have to redesign everything and make sure that if it happens again, medyo mas matibay na yung ating mga gagawin. All right. Okay, yes.
Mr. President, I was supposed to do the response, but luckily nasalo na ako ng OCDs. My presentation's already been blended into their presentation. But Mr. President, three things na paulit-ulit ko kasi sa ways forward ng mga governors and yung family food packs. And based on your instruction, lagi yun yung priority. Nandun na ho kanina to. That's the disaggregated data of how much family food packs we've released. This one's dated yesterday, but kanina, as of the presentation, it's close to 250,000 family food packs just for this region. Admittedly, Mr. President, it's one of the larger releases natin, but we have more in the warehouse and more is coming in. And based on your instructions, now we'll keep on sustaining it. So one way or another, we've communicated to the governors, the congressional representations, the mayors, that they can lodge the request sa regional office. We still have stocks and will continue doing so. Mr. President, also, I'd like to mention that over the weekend, tama si Sec. Gibo, the Air Force and the Navy have been moving our goods from one point to another. In fact, doon sa kina Kong Chino and General Generoso, it was the Navy that brought the family food packs. And then doon, sa couple of towns in Caraga, it was airlifted by the choppers ng Black Hawks ng Air Force. And they'll continue doing so. We still have the goods, so we'll continue moving that, Mr. President. Number two, Mr. President, the mention of the emergency cash transfer, which we have also instructed na people will have to move from food to cash. So as mentioned, the Davao del Norte group has already submitted their list. We initiated the payout yesterday. But may dagdag pala, so we'll just wait for the listing ulit. I think the provincial government and si Kong Dohali has been very active in scouring the area and giving us the list. We've already made representation and spoken to the congressional representatives, the governors, about the other provinces na sana mabigay na yung list so we can start doing the payout. So we can transition from food to cash. Kasi you always say nga na, Mr. President, na hindi lahat ng kailangan nila matatagpuan doon sa kahon. Also, based on our discussions, they really need the cash because nga, some of them may not have been affected physically yung bahay, but yung livelihood, hindi nakapag-isda, hindi nakapagsaka. So, I think we've already squared off with almost everybody in the table, privately, one way or another, over the week na if they can send the list over, we can immediately download the cash sa regional office namin and initiate the payouts. We're also adding more special disbursing officers para simultaneous sa iba-ibang mga probinsya. And last, Mr. President, the next slide, the more important slide that I've been tasked to read, yung sa Office of the Presidential Assistance. Yes. Mr. President, I was tasked by your office to go through this list. So for the information of the governors and the affected LGUs, on top of the emergency cash transfer, hiwalay huto, our President has authorized the release from his Presidential Social Fund a total amount of 265 million. And the breakdown are as follows. The province of Davao del Norte will get 30 million. The province of Davao Oriental will get 30 million. The province of Agusan del Sur will get 30 million. The province of Davao de Oro will get 30 million. The province of Surigao del Sur will get 25 million. The province of Maguindanao del Sur, 25 million. Davao City, 20 million. Butuan City, 20 million. Province of Davao Occidental, 20 million. The province of Agusan del Norte, 15 million. The province of Cotabato, 10 million. And the province of Bukidnon, 10 million. To sum up 265 million. So for the information of the governors, the President has authorized the immediate release of the presidential assistance from his Presidential Social Civic Fund on top of the emergency cash assistance that he has also authorized. So the President has instructed us to mobilize food and cash immediately. Thank you, Mr. President.
I think from the reports that we have had, I think that we are doing all right in the food, but the provision of food packs, etc. But as the Secretary was explaining, that it gets to the point na hindi lang pagkain ang kailangan ng tao, that they need to buy other things na para sa kanilang household, no? So that's why the ECTs have become very important, and that's why I released the 265 million to make sure that that phase of the response is immediate, at maramdaman kaagad ng tao, mayroon kaagad silang tulong, maramdaman nila kaagad kung ano yung kailangan nila. Meron silang gagamitin sa pangangailangan nila. So that is the other thing I wanted to ask about is there was only one report about the problem on water supply. What are we doing in terms of providing usually kumukuha tayo ng mga purifiers and
yes, sir. Sir, tinawag ko na, and tomorrow darating na po sila. I'm just looking at the team.
Siyempre, that's very important kasi kung hindi magandang tubig, hindi sapat yung tubig.
Yes, sir.
People will start drinking from questionable sources, magkasakit pa, we will have an outbreak of all kinds of things.
Sir, ang dadalhin po hindi tankers, mga portable po na naka-backpack lang.
Yung bago, maliit na eh.
Yeah,
pwede nang hindi na kailangan ni pwedeng dali kahit saan.
Yes, sir.
Para dahil it's okay, we will bring as much water as we can, but hindi pwedeng yun na lang. We cannot keep bringing water. We have to provide a water supply that is sufficient without bringing in bottled water. So our solution to that has always been to bring water purifiers, some kind of water purifier. Dati, truck pa yan. Ngayon, the technologies have improved. Pwede nang dalhin ng tao. So that's what we will because I didn't see very much response in terms of the water. That's as critical as anything else, especially at this point, because you cannot do anything without the clean water.
And Mr. President, they're all solar powered.
How many can we?
We could immediately mobilize at least 80 teams, and we're actually asking for more from MMDA. So I will just coordinate with the SecTibo for the transportation tomorrow.
Just bring, especially the more isolated areas.
Sir.
Hindi ba? Hindi naaabot ng mga bottled water na pinapadala natin. Those are the priority areas. So anyway, from the general reports that we are getting, I think that we are all right in terms of relief. Pero meron na naman tayong nag-landslide, so we have to go back again to rescue, search and rescue. Pero anyway, for the most part, we're medyo maayos naman na sufficient naman ang binibigay na relief goods in terms of and the other things such as the sanitation kits, and all the other non-food items that are also being brought by DSWD. So just continue to inform us to inform us as to what is needed. Dahil yung mga numero natin ngayon, hindi na yan, tumaas na yan eh. Dumami na yan eh. As you can see from the changes that we have seen from the shear line to the LPA. There are changes now. Tapos the event is still ongoing in some areas, so we'll have to watch that. The infrastructure problem, really, we will have to we'll prioritize. We will prioritize the thoroughfares, the roads that are necessary for us to be able to bring whatever relief goods are necessary, all of these water purifiers, etc., the equipment that's necessary. Make sure that every barangay maabot natin. Yung mga isolated, yun ang unahin natin. Maghanap tayo ng paraan na makadaan yung mga sasakyan natin para maidala yung mga pangangailangan. Like, again, the food and non-food items of the DSWD. If we have, yung helicopter is okay, pero kaunti lang ang kanilang kayang dalhin. We need truck ang kailangan dyan eh.
Yes, sir. Truck at saka tao-tao plus helicopters. But, sir, I've asked General Bronner also to reach out to his counterparts. Maybe there may be an opportunity for a mutual combined operation here.
All right.
Likewise, Mr. President, I also requested General Bronner because we've noticed that we have meals ready to eat that our troops in the field really don't eat because they like hot meals, and these are perfect for evacuation centers because they're already MREs. They're about to expire, some of them, so maybe we can swap with the DSWD for rice and canned goods, which our troops really use rather than the MREs.
Para i-recycle na natin.
And the MREs, sir, are very convenient because they're already individual food packs for 3 meals a day. Sir,
yes.
Rene.
With your directive to rethink the design of our action plans, I'd like to inform the local government that DOST, OCD, and the World Bank, in collaboration with other agencies, developed the Plan Smart Ready to Rebuild. And this is an automated planning. Together with your input, you'll be able to look at all the multi-hazards that can affect your areas and plan better para maganda po yung ating rebuilding after all the emergency interventions have been finished. Then we can actually train your planners together with the national agencies and sit down and plan better for your local government. So, Plan Smart Ready to Rebuild.
For the immediate, I was about to ask you, what's the weather look like?
Mababa na po yung ulan, but the problem with the landslide na nangyari kahapon, there can be a lag time. Kahit maliit ang ulan, may mga deep landslides po na nangyayari. Kaya yung deep landslides ang nakakatabon talaga ng structure.
At saka mukhang, from the comments of the LGUs, mukhang naapektuhan ng lindol.
Yes po. So the earthquake...
Generally speaking, with this kind of rain, hindi naman gumuguho yan.
Correct po.
Pero siguro nag-liquefy na ng konti yan.
Yes, na-loosen na po. So every time there's a major earthquake, we have to worry about multiple landslides when the rains come.
Yeah.
So we can train po sila.
In the best forecast we have, so we do not expect any heavy rains anymore for the next couple of weeks, at least 3 weeks.
Meron pa po mga konting ulan, but
kailangan talagang bantayan.
ang Davao region and Caraga po ang areas na hindi forecast na maapektuhan ng El Nino kasi maulan talaga ang forecast. Kaya nangyari po na yung dalawang region ang talagang naapektuhan.
Hindi ba natin pwede ilipat yung ulan dun sa...
Pag ganito pong panahon, mga late December and this quarter, kasi papunta dito sa Mindanao yung ulan eh.
Okay, well, that's the best forecast that we have. Mukhang mayroon pa rin na ulan po. Kailangan pa rin bantayan ito. So those areas that we already have identified that will be flooded, baka we will have to take care of those people, the evacuees first. Huwag muna natin pabalikin sa mga bahay nila. Baka maapektuhan na naman sila. na ako ng scammer. Anyway, this is, I think, again, so here, to go over it again, relief goods, etc., I think are okay. Water supply, we're going to attend to, and make sure that we'll continue to bring in bottled water as much as we can. But it gets to a point na hindi talaga kaya na dahil ang bigat-bigat eh. At saka ang laki ng dinadala. It's much easier, much better to have the purifier. So that's what we will bring to those areas that that need it. On the infrastructure side, we will prioritize those roads and thoroughfares that are necessary for us to be able to provide support to those who have become victims. So yun ang unahin natin. On the longer term, we really have to start looking at the designs of these bridges and roads to see if they are still the designs are still compatible with the weather patterns and the effects that DNR is going to provide us with the guidance in terms of how we proceed, because we cannot kung i-rebuild lang natin lahat ng nasira, ganun din ang mangyayari. That's the same thing will happen. Or if we're going to rebuild it, we have to rebuild it maybe in a way that is kailangan mas matibay, kailangan it's stronger, etc. All of that. So that's something that I think that we can attend to as quickly as possible. But again, the situation is still changing. All right. So and then in terms of the cash transfers, that one is immediate. So it's now up to the LGUs to provide us with the listing, etc. But we will already release this. Kayo nang bahala kung saan nyo dadalhin. Because of course you know kung sinong nangangailangan more than anybody else. All right, I think that pretty much covers everything that we have. Are there any other things that the governors, congressmen would like to talk about? Na ano pang kailangan ninyo?
Mr. President, just to add, kausap ko na po yung MMDA. Tomorrow, they'll be having here 80 machines which will give about 180 gallons per hour ang isang makina po. So madami po ito dire-diretso po. Yes, sir.
Very practical yung mga water
180 gallons per hour.
At saka
One machine.
Kahit saan
One
kumuha
machine.
ng tubig pwede. Paglabas malinis talaga.
So tomorrow po, de-deliver na po ng MMDA.
Oh, sige. All right. Yes, Lord.
For the DSWD. Kasi nga, because of the landslide that we had last night, there are many that we evacuated in several evacuation centers. So we need ASAP po sana mga additional tents po.
Yes, ma'am.
Tents po.
Tent shelters.
Shelters. Kasi andun lang sila sa mga gym, yung iba, tapos walang...
Baka ilan ng
kasi 800 families. Oo. Kasi 3 barangays po yung evacuate naman.
Sige, Gov. We'll mobilize it. Meron ho kami. Kakadating din lang.
Okay. Thank you.
Kasi we nakapag-forward placement tayo. In other words, bago pa dumating, nailapit na namin lahat ng gamit. So that's why the response was relatively quick. But again, for that, we have to hear from you, from the local government, kasi kayo talagang nakakaalam. I mean, the national government is only here to support you with all of this. But you have to make the request to us para naman mabigyan natin ng tulong.
Mr. President?
Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. President, ang immediate po na kailangan ng Davao del Norte is yung pagkain, tubig at food packs po at yung mga gamit po sa mga bata para sa pagbalik nila sa eskwela. And tanong ko po, Mr. President, ito lang po gusto ko lang i-clear. Kung during the distribution of the food packs or any support coming from the national government or the coming from the Department of Social Welfare and Development or the DOLE, sino po ba ang authorized to distribute? Is the local government ba, like munisipyo, the city, the province, or
Iba-iba, depending
the
on what the
the
assistance is.
the to the any elected official po?
Yes, go ahead.
Like in the food packs kasi, iba-iba yung request na natatanggap namin. And we try to fulfill ng sabay-sabay. There will be requests from the provincial level, we'll give it to the province. There will be requests direct from the mayors, we give it to the mayors.
Yes.
There will be requests from the Congress people, we'll give it to the Congress people. So at this point in time, I would assume dahil lahat tayo busy, the different elected officials are all tasked to move all at the same time. So yun.
Usually, ganun ang sistema.
Yes po.
Sa local government talaga binababa. Meron like yung sa DOLE, sa bawat isa, silang nag-a-assess it. Silang gumagawa ng assessment. But for the most part, it's really local government. Kasi sinasagot lang namin yung request ninyo.
Yes po, Mr. President. Kasi during calamity, ang kumukuha ng data at ang gumagawa ng quick response is the munisipyo, the city, and the province. And also collecting data, kami ang lahat ng in charge, yung LGU at PLGU. But like what happened in Davao del Norte, minsan kasi may hindi po nakarating sa province. Pero na-distribute, iba naman ang nag-distribute. And gusto po ako mag-thank you po kay Ma'am Inday Sara na quick response po, nagbigay kagad siya ng support doon sa Davao del Norte po. Ma'am. Thank you so much po, Ma'am.
Anton, you had wanted to add.
Lahat naman na nag-request, doon naman ibibigay. Pag hindi mag-request, hindi nabibigay. Tapos, pag nawawala dito, hindi rin nabibigay sa inyo. Kung wala kayo, we have to go to the next who's there, di ba? So, yun yung man nangyayari.
Pero mostly, LGU talaga. LGU talaga ang inaasahan namin. Oh. We depend on the national government cannot do this by itself. As I said, we support you with cash transfer, with relief goods. But kayo ang magsasabi sa amin kung saan dadalhin, kung saan ang uunahin, saan yung hindi na nga pwedeng pumasok, etc. etc. That's why makita naman ninyo, pagka maganda yung quick response na ginawa ng LGU, kagaya ngayon, may magandang effect talaga. So that's why we are trying to improve our forecasting, para makapag-warning kami na maaga sa inyo na makapaghanda kayo for whatever it is that is coming your way. So, except nung lindol, siyempre hindi pa natin ma-forecast yan. So, that's the general situation pag-release ng mga resources, mga tulong. So, yes, LGU pa rin, LGU. LGU-centric ang national government. All right. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, the President shall lead the turnover of assistance from the Office of the President to the affected cities and municipalities in the region. May we call on Governor Dorothy Gonzaga, together with the mayors of Davao de Oro, to receive the check. At this point, we call on Governor Gonzaga, together with the mayors of Davao de Oro, to receive the check.
And now may we call on Governor Edwin Hubahid, together with the mayors of Davao del Norte, to receive the check. Next, Governor Nino Soteruoy, together with the mayors of Davao Oriental, to receive the check. Davao Occidental Provincial Administrator Attorney Geoffrey Navarra, together with the Provincial Treasurer, to receive the check. Please prepare Davao City Operations and Warning Division Acting Head, Mr. Rodrigo Bustillo, to receive the check.
Ano po ang masasabi niyo rito? Kalimitan ay nadadala tayo ng emosyon kung kaya't mistulang bulag ang ating pananaw sa mga bagay-bagay. Kung totoo man na natauhan na ang mag-amang former President Rodrigo Duterte at Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte, sana ay kapulutan nila ng aral ang kamaliang nagawa. Ngunit kapag hindi pa rin tumigil ang mga ito at muling magsalita ng di magagandang bagay, malamang nangangahulugan ito na wala na talaga silang pag-asang magbago para sa sarili at sa bayan. Maari lamang po na pakilahad ang inyong opinyon o suhestyon sa comment portion. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, comment and share. Please don't skip ads. Till next time. Stay safe. Bye.